Hi, this is Dear Name Scene, and today we are going to do another watercolor tutorial, and it's going to be of a sea turtle. And I kind of started already, but pretty much I cut that part because we're gonna be repeating this so many times. And if you get one of those shapes, you are gonna get all of them. So I'm starting with kind of a wet on wet, so I'm making the canvas wet and then I'm dropping a color. So the color is green, yellow, and a little bit of blue that I mixed, and I made this beautiful green. But you can make it any color you want. You can have a purple turtle, red turtle, yellow turtle, whatever turtle, blue turtle, whatever you want. So I am going to do tons of layers. So I'm starting with super pale kind of a background, and this is why I'm starting with wet on wet. And then if you see on the left hand side, my palette in the middle is very diluted with water, so that was kind of the color or the strength of the paint that I'm using. And then I'm starting to emphasize a little bit more on the sides, and that kind of makes it more like three-dimensional. Now I'm moving to a smaller areas. Those shapes are much smaller, so I'm changing my strategy a little bit, and I am doing dry paper. So my canvas is dry, and then I am adding the paint, and then with a clean wet brush I'm gently moving the color. And the reason why is because when you have a small surface that you have to paint, a lot of times when you have wet on wet, you might get a little bit too much paint there. So I'm pretty much trying to be more in charge of what's going on that little area than if I do wet on wet. So you can see how I'm leaving part of the middle untouched in a way. And if you want to create that illusion of perspective, you see how the turtle edge, the shell on the, let's say that's like 11 o'clock, it's very thin, and pretty much that creates the illusion of the perspective that this is like behind, it's hidden, it's far away, because that I just wanted to make it more three-dimensional versus a little bit flat. So the next part is the fins, and again I added a first layer which is on the top of the fin is blue, and the front fins are kind of flipped a little bit, so you can see that movement, and on the bottom is a little bit greenish, but it's super pale. And there you go, I'm adding layer number 3 on the shell, and now I'm doing a little bit more blue, but I'm trying to add the blue where it needs, so it's not on top of necessarily of the darker parts of the green, but just the place where it's going to emphasize on the shape of the turtle's back. So, and I'm trying really hard not to create a pattern, because that is the easiest thing to start doing, kind of like the same thing again and again. So I'm looking for areas where I can break the pattern, like always doing the same color on the same side. So I'm going to try to do maybe the blue on the bottom, then I'm gonna do it a little bit on the left, and then on the right, and then on the top, and pretty much try to change the pattern. So this is gonna be layer number 2 on the fins, which we're adding a little bit more color, but it's still kind of transparent. And I'm adding kind of like shapes, almost like it looks like a giraffe. So make sure you're not making all the shapes the same. So make some small, make some big. And pretty much the easiest thing to do is make one shape, and then from that shape start observing the shape and make few smaller, so going down, and then another big one and going a little up and down on shapes, so you're not creating a pattern, because that's the easiest thing that we as humans like to do is create patterns and organization. And now this is layer number 3, so I'm emphasizing a little bit more on the fin, but again, I'm not covering completely the first layer or the second layer, so it's a layer but it's partially covering the previous 2 layers. And I'm adding a few of those shapes on the head, so I'm not really emphasizing too much on the head. So there is an eye, there is a few little lines for the neck that shows that, you know, the kind of the rough skin of a turtle, but I'm not really going in super details. I'm going more in details. If you can see like closer to us, like we can see that area better, and the one that it's a little further away, I am adding details, but I'm keeping it a little bit muted. And pretty much I'm adding a little bit of ochre to a few areas. I just felt like it just needs something little, and ochre is one of my favorite colors. So, and you see the fins on the bottom, or the one that it's pointing at 4 o'clock and the one that it's kind of a 6 o'clock, they are so much brighter and heavier on color than the other ones on the other side. And the same with the shell. The shell on the bottom is much more vibrant than the shell on the top. So I'm adding wet, like you did see here. I'm adding wet to my canvas, and then I'm gonna create a little bit of a background, just so the turtle doesn't seem like it's flying away. So I'm adding a very pale bluish green, and pretty much it's just dropping it, but you see how pale it is, so it doesn't matter where you drop it. Is just kind of filling in the space a little bit. Now you can leave it here. I'm gonna take it one step further, and I'm gonna add, just using the shape of the brush. And if you did notice, I did not change my brush through the whole time. I think this one is a number 6 or 12, I'm not sure, or 8. But it doesn't matter as long as you have a good point on your brush. So I use the shape of the round brush kind of to press down and create this sea plant looking things on the back, and some of them I muted just by going over them either with another version of the green or the blue and smudging them a little bit so they're not pronounced, they're not taking away from our turtle. And yeah, I added a little bit of a darker color, but I think I'm probably going to take that a little back. We'll see how, when it starts drying, what's gonna happen. And now I'm adding a little bit of an outline just to punch that turtle a little bit more forward, and that is black with blue. So I did not just use black color, I mixed my black with blue, so kind of goes together with our image. And again, there is one more layer, so that's number 4 on the fins, and probably 5 or 6 on the shell that we did. So we started with super light colors, and then we added another 4 to 5 layers on top of the super light color, and pretty much I think we could be done here. Adding yellow at this point, just playing around, but yeah, this is it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you like these videos, click that notification bell so you get notifications for our future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.